victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Thursday evening bomb dropping. Not talking about Iran. Yeah, they're bombing the hell out of Iran as well. But we're looking forward to tonight's speech. Just to give you guys an update on what exactly is going on. ABC, NBC, CBS have all refused to air tonight's live presentation. They're going to do some things on their digital feed, but on the network broadcast, they decided this just didn't cut it, so they're not going to show it. They're just basically trying to memory hole this entire evening. Now, I got some things I want to show you from a couple senators. The first one being Bernie Moreno of Ohio. I was just briefed by the White House on what to expect this evening. I would encourage every American to tune in tonight to the president's speech. This may be the most important Oval Office address since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Time for complacency with China is over. Eric Schmidt also posted. He posted some of the facts that will be revealed in President Trump's speech tonight are truly shocking. If the networks were truly serving the public interest, they would air it, and as a country, we would collectively resolve to take action. But that's not what they want. They know that this is going to annihilate the Democrat Party, just destroy them, and they can't possibly let that happen. They have to keep this under wraps. There is so much going on, but I know we're on a very, very tight time frame. Obviously, like I told you, when you have a broadcast presentation, it has to be exact. So President Trump will be on specifically at 9 o'clock. I've got a video set to show you that'll lead us right up to it that I want to talk to you guys about as we go. SV is gathering all kinds of new stuff to see what's happening. You on this, man? It's going to be a crazy night.
Yes, it is, man. Already, I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have like 25 windows open all over the place. It's awesome. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh.
Multitask. I'm going to zap some trolls.
I'm going to have to just up your microphone a little bit so people can hear you. But
Can you hear me?
I got you. I mean, you can hear you. I think maybe it's me. but we shall see. So starting off right off the bat, before we get too much further, we had said we were going to do 6 $50 gift certificates, not gift certificates, Visa gift cards today.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is be the first person for SV to see the answer to this question. So here, this is going to be the first question. Ready? All you got to do is have the yeah. I'll text you as soon as I get done. But here's the first question. In 1988 and 2007, Trump received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. What was the reason cited for the 2007 star? What was the reason why he got a Hollywood star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2007? And I should have had the answer waiting, but I do have the answer here. I got to give it to SV. Wait 1 second. Here it is here. You ready for it, SV? I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
But let me get into the video. Some of you guys may have already answered, but you got to see this video tonight. SB, I'll hit you up as soon as I get this rolling.
So can you tell me why Joe Biden was certified as the winner of the 2020 election?
I'm going back to my constitutional law here, but I don't want to continue to have a debate about this, but I believe he had the most electoral votes.
So he won the election.
He followed our process, had the most electoral votes, was declared the winner, and
who has the most electoral votes? Is it the person that wins or the person that loses?
I think that's your characterization. I'm not going to continue.
The reason why we struggle with this, and I think it's especially important in the job you're nominated for, is because it seems that folks who are nominated for these positions just fundamentally refuse to disagree with something the president says. And the problem I have with this is he isn't in the room today. You're going to be in a room with him many times. And at times you should have a difference of opinion. And if you can't disagree with him when he's not in the room, are you going to be able to disagree with him when you're sitting across from him?
So this guy, obviously, that's Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, I believe. And the guy he's talking to is Jay Clayton, who is basically being put up to take Tulsi Gabbard's position. Remember, Bill Pulte is the interim guy, and then when Jay gets confirmed, which he will be the new DNI. But what we were seeing was a prelude to what you're seeing today. They are all freaking out because they want one of Trump's nominees to basically come out and say Biden won the election. And these guys are not saying it, and it's driving the Democrats crazy.
In the Oval Office or the Situation Room. That's what I struggle with, because this job is different. This job, it's not about softening the edges when the truth is unpleasant. It's about delivering information and making sure the president understands that information. And by the way, people risk their lives to get this information. And if it's not transmitted to the president, if he doesn't understand it, I mean, there's going to be disagreements. We expect that. But I really struggle with this, especially in your position, because you can't disagree with him on this, because he doesn't like the fact that he lost in 2020.
Look,
as you said, Joe Biden was certified because he got the most electoral votes. That means he won, but you still refuse to say that.
And I was sitting at the SEC when this occurred, and I can tell you that maybe people worked harder, but I don't think anybody I know worked harder to make an effective transition to my successor at the SEC.
Who won the 2020 election?
I'm not going to do this with you.
This is.
I'm not playing your stupid schoolyard games. Now this is John Ossoff, one of the senators who's directly in the crosshairs of what President Trump is doing and what he may say tonight as one of the two senators from Georgia. And so between Warnock and Ossoff, these are the two guys who definitely are in the crosshairs. And it's just amazing to me that the DNI is like, not playing your game. Stop asking stupid questions.
It's a job interview. We've established that you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee. Yes, you do have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee?
Yes.
Who won the 2020 election?
Like I said, I'm not going to get into that with you.
But you do have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee.
Is anything that I just said not honest or forthright?
Yes.
Shut up. Oh my gosh, they can't take it. I don't know if you guys saw these hearings. I got some more for you, but it's incredible. This is what you are determining whether or not somebody can do a job or not. If they will go along with the charade and say that Joe Biden won the election, that's a qualification at this point. You guys can't even tell what a boy or a girl is, but you want him to make sure he acquiesces and bows down to you. And the thing that the Democrats are finding is that this isn't 2021, 2022, when Twitter and everybody would bounce you off if you didn't get, yes, Biden was the winner. Now, I mean, I would not have been able to even show this and talk about it. But here we are in 2026, and President Trump's about to drop the hammer, it seems. And these guys can't deal with it.
You're not being honest or forthright. Who won the 2020 election?
I think I've answered the question. We can keep doing this.
Well, we're going to keep doing it because you're not being honest and forthright.
I'm not going to
committee.
engage in the theater.
It's a simple question, Mr. Clayton.
And I've answered.
Who won the 2020 presidential election?
Does this guy look like a reasonable adult, or does he look like a bot? I mean, when you look at Ossoff and you hear him talk, he just looks so stoic. He doesn't look like a real person. And he's pissed. He knows what's coming, but he's absolutely pissed.
You're here asking for the support of senators to lead America's intelligence community. We've established that you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with this committee and with the American public, but you refuse to answer a simple matter of fact about the 2020 election. Is that right?
No, that's not right.
Then answer the question. Who won the 2020 election?
I have answered the question.
Answer it. What is your answer?
I've given you my answer.
What is your answer?
They so ain't ready for this. They're so not ready for this. You guys can play your stupid little games. You can try to get the gotcha question, and they're looking them straight in the eye and going, we're not playing this. Now, as the new DNI, I'm sure he's already had some information if he's got clearance. Bill Pulte already knows. They already know what's coming tonight. President Trump has made no bones about it. He said directly, Ossoff and Warnock were not elected. Ossoff and Warnock were selected. They were stuck in this office. They didn't earn it. They're DEI, and they know what's coming.
You refuse to answer a basic question about who won a presidential election, but you asked to lead America's intelligence community? Isn't it humiliating to be unable to answer this question?
Isn't it humiliating to know that President Trump has put you in his crosshairs? Isn't it humiliating that the president, the most powerful man in the free world, announced to everybody, I'm coming for you? That would just scare the heck out of me with all the resources of the federal government and with his nominee for DNI and Kash Patel and John Ratcliffe. All these people are going to say, you weren't elected. Now, I spoke earlier yesterday, I don't know what the remedy is. I have no idea how you remove these people who have been put into office, even though they've been put into office seemingly because of fraud. There's no mechanism. So something drastic has to happen. It's not going to go through a court system. It's not going to go through Congress or the Senate. It's not going to go to the Supreme Court. Something in the vein of pulling the plug has to happen. Otherwise, there's no way to remove these people.
To have to indulge the president's delusions? We know, you know, everybody in this room knows the truthful answer to that question. Why can you not give it?
Because we don't know. We don't know. People will tell you there's no evidence. Well, if there's no evidence, if Trump is going to make himself out to be a fool tonight, if everybody in Trump world are complete idiots and morons and losers, why are they afraid to show the American people tonight? Why have they declined? Oh, he's just going to lie. Well, then that would give you more fodder to accuse him of being a fool. So that's not the reason. The reason is you want to keep a bunch of people in the dark.
I think I gave you the answer.
Donald Trump is drumming up long debunked conspiracy theories about the 2020 election yet again.
Why would you have to speak about this? You don't have to come out and make a video and publish this. You're doing it because you're trying to convince the idiots that follow you, the idiots that think that you are really a senator. I guess if they think you're a reverend, they probably could fall for the idea of you being a senator. I just found it odd that I was able to put this stuff together with Ossoff and Warnock both.
He is attacking our democracy, and Georgia is ground zero. Can you believe it? 2020 was 6 years ago, and Trump is president right now. So why is he still talking about this egregious lie?
I think there's probably 70 million people or more who could answer that question if you ask them. We all know why. You can't just turn around and pretend like nothing happened. Everything was fine. The votes that all showed up overnight, when you told people to go away, when you said that there was a water main break where there wasn't a water main break, when all the votes all of a sudden at 3 a.m. went vertical for one guy, but you didn't want anyone to talk about it. Debunked? Hardly. Most of you know right now what happened. They just kept throwing it out of court. They wouldn't allow it. Oh, there's no standing. Well, the reason why there's no standing because there was no remedy. There was nothing anybody could do about what these people did. There was no statute that says, hey, if you commit fraud and get into an office, we didn't expect this. So I don't know what President Trump has as a remedy. I have no idea, but they are confident that he can't find one.
The real reason goes well beyond his fragile ego. It's all part of his goal to hold on to power at any cost. Let me break it down for you.
Let me break it down for you. If I was accused of cheating, I wouldn't need a teleprompter. I could come out and say specifically, here's what I did, here's how I garnered all these votes. President Trump is not telling the truth. I won this, I did this. But that's not what they say. As you're listening to these people, understand what you're hearing is deflection. Oh, Trump's doing that again. Oh, Trump's doing this. How about you? How about you tell us how you got elected? They don't do that.
Donald Trump lost Georgia in 2020. That's not my opinion, it's a fact. The votes were counted, recounted, audited, and litigated. He lost, he lost, he lost. But this really isn't about 2020, it's about 2026.
You're damn right. It's about 2026, it's about 2028, it's about 2030, 2032. We want to eliminate you people from ever doing this nonsense ever again. You went to as far as to release a disease to try and force people to have mail-in ballots. And then you want to do mail-in ballots forever for 30, 40 days. California's still counting their mayoral race. It's become a farce. At some point, we have to end this. If we're going to have a country, we cannot have socialists all of a sudden going in and cherry-picking races across the country. How does that work? How is that happening? Don't know. They're finding their pockets. And they're using a formula at this point to get into our government. And they're the enemy. But these people don't seem to have a problem.
He is trying to sow doubt on the integrity of our elections in Georgia so that he can create the pretext to interfere in 2026.
How? See, that would be a question if I was in an audience or a press conference, that how could President Trump sow doubt to have some sort of pretext to interfere in Georgia's election? Please explain what would have to happen for President Trump to interfere in a state election. Well, the answer is pretty simple. He'd have to prove that you guys were frauds. He'd have to show the American public. You're confident that no judge will hear it, but you can't stop him from talking to the American people. I know there's so many Democrats who won't even watch tonight and won't care. It doesn't matter. All they want to do is destroy the country. Their objective is very clear. They will not listen. They will not watch. They will ignore everything. They will call Trump an idiot. They will call us idiots. They'll come in and troll into the comment section. Anything so they don't have to hear. Because not only do they not care about the elections, I don't expect them to. They don't care about America. The elections means absolutely nothing. And so this is how far gone the Democrat Party has jumped over the ledge, to the point where we don't even want to have a discussion. We don't even want to see the evidence.
It's happening right now, before our very eyes. As we speak, the president is trying to change the rules to tilt the playing field in his favor.
Pretty much, I think he's trying to change the rules to get it back to some degree of normalcy, where you can't vote for a month, where the inner city always waits till like 10 o'clock before they count their votes, where you do it in secret, where nobody can see. How about we just vote? How about instead of anybody worried about, somebody tilting the scales, why don't we just do it correctly? Why do we just not have any illegals not be able to vote? Why don't you just bring an ID and vote? Why don't you just count it by midnight on the night of the election? Why are these things the extreme? Why is you getting off your duff every 2 years and going and electing, just like we did for decades? What's extreme? The extreme is where you guys have taken it, not where Trump is trying to take it. He's trying to get it back to normalcy. Anybody remember, 2000, 1996, how things were done? Until you realized at some point, nobody wants to hear your shit. Nobody wants to vote for the crap that you're throwing out there. Realistically, there is a small group of people who want what you're selling. And it's going to get smaller, which they know, because no American wants communism veiled as socialism. We don't want that crap. Who are you kidding?
He already seized ballots in Fulton County. He already tried to access election worker data. He already forced his allies to redraw the maps across the country. So this is not hypothetical, it is happening right now. This president is a liar, a cheater, and a fraud.
Okay, let's say I agree with you. He's a liar, a cheater, and a fraud. What's the best way to reveal to everybody that he's a liar, he's a cheater, and he's a fraud? Everything we're saying about you, by the way, I think we know what the remedy is. Lay the cards on the table. Let the American people decide. But you don't want that. It's easier for you to, levy insults. It's easier for you to say cheater, fraud. And all we're saying is maybe you were elected. Maybe you indeed, the people of Georgia put you in office. Let's see it. That's all we're saying. We could be completely wrong. there could have been enough crazy ass people in Georgia to put you in office. But you hid everything. So if he's a cheater, a liar, and a fraud, what a better way to confront him than to just say, here are the books, here's every ballot, here's what we did, look at it yourself. That's what I would do.
And he has shown us over and over again that staying in power matters more to him than anything else. He's not focused on the country. He's focused on himself. So let me be crystal clear. Donald Trump can spend every day of his presidency talking about 2020 if he wants. I'll spend every day doing the job the people of Georgia elected me to do. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down.
If you're not going to be intimidated and you're not going to back down, why did you need a video to even mention it? You know, when people act a certain way, again, I've used the analogy. When did you start beating your wife? I've never beat her. You don't need to dance around. Oh, you're a fraud for even asking me the question. Do you beat your wife? No, I don't. Nope, never have. But this isn't how they're answering. They're attacking Trump. They're attacking MAGA as if we're the ones who are some kind of, crazy people, crazy people. All right, so before we go on, let me do the next $50 gift card. You ready? Trump owned the Miss Universe, the Miss USA, and the Miss Teen USA pageants for nearly 2 decades. In what year did he sell them? When did he sell those pageants? SV already has the answer, so he's ready, and he will be watching you guys. All right, so let me just read it one more time. Trump owned Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA for nearly 2 decades. In what year did he sell them? Good luck.
If they declare your election ineligible, what can you actually do about that to prevent some sort of lack of faith in the system to the voters of Georgia?
Again, just consider for a moment that we understand the president may be threatening to declare sitting United States senators illegitimate. If that is the course of action he pursues, he is calling Georgia voters illegitimate.
No, not at all. Don't know why the guy sitting there holding the microphone just didn't ask him. He didn't say anything about the Georgia voters. In fact, what they're probably going to say is you fraudulently cheated Georgia voters as well. There's a lot of people in Georgia who question what happened. He's not talking about the good people of Georgia. He's talking about you, scumbag.
From the very moment Georgia voters rejected him in 2020, he's been on the warpath because he was humiliated by the rebuke that Georgians dealt him. And he was humiliated and furious in particular as a committed lifelong racist, that it was.
You seeing the pattern here? The pattern here is to push on Trump, not on the facts, not on the election. Now he's a lifelong racist, which every person that was around him in his life, including Oprah, they know he's not a racist. Jesse Jackson, Rosa Parks, Muhammad Ali, all of them. All of a sudden he comes on the escalator and now he's a racist. If you don't want President Trump looking back at 2000, why are you looking back on the same played things you were saying since 2016, 2020 rather? Why is it? Why are you going back to those tropes? Oh, he's a lifelong racist. It's not working anymore. It doesn't work anymore on anybody. We don't care. You need to change up because this ain't going to work.
Black voters in Georgia who are instrumental in his defeat.
In your mind, are Senators Ossoff and Warnock duly chosen and sworn?
I don't know.
Look.
What? You don't know? What do you mean? You don't know? That was, as you saw, in the halls of Congress. I don't know. Well, could be. So if they don't know, how the hell are we supposed to know? But now I got something for you. You may have seen this one floating around. After what we may hear tonight, this might indeed just be like, oops, big old Freudian slip here.
The Trump White House and say, well, the Russians probably did help them, to whatever extent we may not yet know. So we're not going to go there. We're going to do what they tell us. Imagine, Rachel, that you had one of the Democratic nominees for 2020 on your show. Mm-hmm. And that person said, the only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would richly reward you.
Looking back through on this stuff, you're like, they were telling us the whole time. They were telling us exactly what was going to be transpiring. I'm looking at the clock. It's 9 o'clock straight up. I'm waiting for either feed to come on. They're probably getting ready to do a commercial on Fox, but the other feed hasn't come on yet either. So we shall see very shortly what's going on. We will find out. And what do we got here? Let me just make sure. No, Hannity just doing his intro, so he hasn't come out yet. So much for being on time because it's a broadcast program, but we shall see. I am excited beyond excited. I hope we don't get disappointed. We shall see. What are you thinking?
It's going to be fire, one way or the other. I already bounced one troll.
How can you be trolling right now?
He was not a fan of Israel first thing, the usual.
Do they not realize the deflection that they're doing? That everything is just Israel, Epstein. Oh, wow, he just walked on. He didn't even tell anybody. Hold on, let me make sure. Where's the feed here? Wait 1 second. Gotta get the feed.
We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. But virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, "This is the most secure election in the history of our country," a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. Obama, we believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems, dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports
for many years,
that our government
Americans
has long
were blatantly lied to about the security
exposed to attack.
Our election
As one
infrastructure,
assessment
including
states, we
electronic
judged that
voting machines and
the United
ballot
States
counting systems,
adversaries, including,
dishonest,
at a
almost
minimum,
all.
Russia,
They're
China, Iran, North
vulnerable.
Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it, made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody, and it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China, and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Wow. 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 If you're like me, you're probably just taking some notes and going through all this stuff that's going on. The Democrats, as you may imagine, their response will be to deny, obfuscate, call him names. He's a liar. One of the first ones I just picked up, and it was very interesting. This was actually beforehand. It was an hour ago. Donald Trump is spending his evening spewing lies from 6 years ago instead of lowering costs for you right now. Not going to work, Liz. If he indeed has these documents, if those documents are going to say what he said they say, there's going to have to be a lot of people with some explaining to do. A lot. One thing he mentioned is that notice right now is being given to governors across the country. Tomorrow, Mark Wayne Mullen is going to be making a statement, which is probably going to be on the enforcement side. What are they going to do now that they have all this information? This was pretty much just him letting you know the documentation he has. I've been checking whitehouse.gov, which will probably be one of the most visited websites in the world tomorrow when all this stuff gets posted. So right tonight, you're going to hear all kinds of people making excuses, whining, saying, no, it's the same old stuff until tomorrow or later tonight when this stuff hits, where you can actually watch it yourself. I don't know if SV's been seeing anything. You seen anything yet?
CNN says we have experts going over what he said, and I went to the link and it's not even there. So
No, it's not.
yeah,
It's not up yet.
the gaslighting. I was stepped away because I was actually cleaning my weapons. So
Oh yeah, you might want to do that, people, because it's about to get ugly. I mean, there's no. What are they going to do at this point? They're going to have to fight back. And I had posted in the chat, if you didn't think we were in a civil war before tonight, now you know it. Let me cut to Fox as they've got their person who's at the White House.
Like as early as tomorrow about that, Sean. Apparently, the president reached out to some Senate Republicans and shared some of this information he's talking about with them because Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio had tweeted right before the speech, the time for complacency with China is over in regards to the allegations the president just made. The headline here is that he has announced that he's declassifying a trove of documents that he claims reveals vulnerabilities in our election system. Those documents are now posted, as you said, on the White House website. The part that you mentioned here about China, where he's alleging that they hacked and gathered voter information on some 200 million Americans over a number of years. That includes names, addresses, voting affiliation. The president says intelligence officials that knew about this did not inform Congress about this. So he is asking the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA to look into this, and then also asking the DOJ to bring charges if necessary about this. It is unclear if the president or the administration spoke to China or Xi about what the president was about to announce tonight before he made these remarks.
Now, understand, President Trump has been speaking highly, not adversarially. He's been speaking highly about Xi Jinping. Oh, I like him. He's a great guy. In fact, he's going to China. So you got to think if he's speaking highly of him and is looking to embrace the relationship and strengthen it, more than likely there's been some people who have talked. See, that's the thing right now. The Democrats probably don't know who has flipped. Was a lot of this stuff given to him by John Bolton? Don't know. One of the things you have to remember are that there are at least 3 grand juries open. You got one in Miami, you got one in Fort Pierce, and this is in Florida, and also in Fort Lauderdale. So you've got 3 grand juries that are continually open. We don't know who the witnesses are. We did hear about John Bolton getting indicted, and then he pled guilty. If he took a deal, we don't know, but they're still gathering all this information. So today was probably the fruits of one of the people, whoever they have, that are flipping and talking, and it's going to enlarge. He even said there are going to be more. He didn't really name any names today because they're probably still investigating them. But now we're going to have these documents. I don't see them as of yet. Have you seen anything on whitehouse.gov as of yet? Are they floating around? No.
It actually has probably a lot of traffic because it took a while to get in. It had to verify me, kind of was checking to see who I was.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Nothing yet. I mean, I'm going through my my list here, and the things I'm saying, like the thing about Michigan Democrat Attorney General reported industrial grade voter fraud to the Biden DOJ, and they did nothing. It's like, I mean, I know they were incompetent, but obviously they were trying to cover it up. I mean, there's so much that he just unpacked.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while to go through all this. I'm like, wow.
It would be stupid for these other networks who didn't even bother covering it to come on and say this is not true or that's not true when they don't even see it yet. I mean, this stuff it better be as concrete as he said it is, because if it is that concrete, these people are toast. They're absolutely toast.
And what do you think is going to happen with the media? I mean, I just saw the story earlier that Pete Hicks had won that court appeals overturning it's to block fake news from roaming the halls of the Pentagon. Right. I mean, I think he needs to like cut him off from even asking questions, going to any of these meetings. Like, just keep him out. Let them all fester. Let them all.
I think he mentioned that. He mentioned the fact of they're getting it for free, which is implying that he's going to make sure they're going to have to pay up. He mentioned the word that he actually said. He used it, and I wrote it down. He said they are complicit. That was
Of course they
so
are. Yeah.
that was on his teleprompter, and he used that word. He said the media is complicit. So everything he said prior to that, he is now saying that the media is involved, which shouldn't surprise anybody. So
Yeah, I mean, that's a
they've got
given.
to.
I knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We just need to, I mean, CNN, they don't have many viewers, but yet they still have the eyeballs. People go that, that's their go-to. And, that gaslighting and the lies, it just somehow we need to turn it off. Like, allow his stuff to go out now. We need to spread this over and over and over. I mean, it's on X.
Now listen to this. The networks wouldn't cover this, right? The networks, ABC, NBC, I think CBS didn't want to cover it. But look at this. WhiteHouse.gov has gone down after President Trump announced new documents about China stealing voter registration data have been posted
Everybody's
there.
hitting it. Yeah.
Boom. So
Yeah.
for a website of the White House to get taken down by traffic, that's probably not by hackers. They knew there would be so many documents. Wait a minute. I think I have oops, I got into it. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. I actually I was able to click through and it worked for me. Let me go ahead and bring this up so we can take a look at some of this stuff. The actual link, if anybody wants to know, SV, it's whitehouse.gov/election-integrity. whitehouse.gov/election-integrity, and you'll be able to pull it up on your own here. So this is the actual website on whitehouse.gov, which now, now everybody can see it. Ensuring the integrity of our elections fundamental to preserving trust in American democracy following the 2020 presidential election. Concerns about potential election irregularities prompted detailed examination of voting processes, data security, registration practices across multiple states. And below, you can actually download the documents, reports addressing key areas of election integrity. And so there's the actual video. And then I'm going to have to spend the evening looking through this and finding out, there's China acquisition, exploitation of voter data. Oh man, this is Michigan voter registration, non-citizens on state voter rolls. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff. That was just the first link. Then you get over here, you got all this stuff here, so we can click here, vulnerabilities. I want to go through all this stuff. Maybe we have to do that. Maybe that will be tomorrow's show, or we can just look at it right now. But I'm reading it at the same time, so excuse me. It says here, we judge that U.S. adversaries, including at a minimum, Russia, China, Iran, NOCO, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. The documents also state we assessed essential. So they had all this information and sat on it. They knew what was going to happen. Tonight, we are releasing all of these findings spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. I think that sentence pretty much says what we were talking about earlier today. That's a national security threat. So more than likely, the emergency will follow shortly thereafter. I'm actually looking for the actual documents. Let me see here. Over a period of years during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history. Illicit acquisition of 220 million user files. The information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. Security again, you're seeing a word there. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Just in the short stuff I've read so far, it looks like it's going to be voluminous, but the one thing people will say tonight is that that's a narrative. There's no actual documentation. So we got to see the actual documentation. Oh, wait.
Are there files on it already?
Yeah, it says here are the documents. So let me see when I open this.
File.
It's a zip file. Oh, I just downloaded 37 megs of data.
I hope you scan it. It might be Chinese.
All right, so this is going to take some time to go through all
You're
this
going to be
stuff.
up late tonight, Barry.
Yeah, there's a story. There's the documents. Oh, here, yeah,
Oh, there's a lot more.
every
Yeah.
single one. The documents are right there. That's why CNN said we got some homework to do.
Good
So
luck
they're
with
actually
that.
putting out the information. So you guys who don't feel like sleeping tonight can go to the website. You share the website with everybody?
Yes, I've been posting it. Hey, I have a question. When do you think the Insurrection Act is going to go into effect, huh?
I don't know which comes first, the emergency, national emergency, or the insurrection. I don't know which one. But with all this information laid out, can't wait to dig in. Obviously, we haven't seen it all yet. I'm looking to see if there's anything in here that mentions Venezuela, because you think Maduro may have dropped some stuff. Let me check here. Non-citizens on voter rolls. According to DHS, we have 278,000 non-citizens. And again, there's another zip file right there. So there's just all kinds of information for us to dig into. I see we'll be having a show for hours tomorrow on a Friday.
Well,
so
the other thing we have to be careful of, folks, is it's also going to be looked at by, like the Candace Owens types and you know what I'm talking about, that guy. And, they're going to spin it and twist it. So be careful,
Well, that's why you need to read it. That's why you need it to read yourself. You got to dig in and start looking at this stuff yourself. I mean, I just unzipped 38 megs worth of stuff. That was just one file. I can't even imagine what's in it. Hold on, let me see if I can go into my file here and see how much information is in here. Hold on, I'm extracting it on my computer. Hopefully, it's not the virus. Yeah, I got an error, right? Huh?
I was going to say, so this shadow government he spoke about, I wanted to hear some names. I want to, like, is Hillary, is she throw out her phones tonight? Her and Bill, like,
Oh man, I can't imagine.
Obama.
These people have got. This is the true beginning of Nessun Dorma, because what he's done right now is just let everybody know what's out there, and now you can all go ahead and look at it. And I'm going to get some dinner, and I'm going to spend hours going through this stuff as well. I encourage each of you to do as well. Don't watch television. Don't let them tell you what's in these documents. Don't let them tell you how to read it. Read it yourself. That's why they posted it. And every single American at this point can go through this themselves. I don't think it's going to be too technical. You're going to just see specifically the information he has. So I can't wait to dig in. It's going to be crazy. Before I sign off, I want to go ahead and do some rapid fire giveaways, because I still have 4 to give.
No, yeah. Need the answers though, because it's hard to look for the answer when it's scrolling by really quickly. So.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can.
So far,
I did 2 so far. Hold on. Let me go ahead and dig up the other ones here. Wait 1 second.
And folks, this is kind of random. I'm looking at both chats, so whenever I see the first correct answer, that's when I stop it.
All right.
Good luck to all you folks.
I'll text you the answer. Well, let me do this. Let me go ahead and put on Hannity for 20 seconds, so I can get you the next couple of answers here. To let him. But they're not even talking about it.
Of course.
Can you believe that? Can you believe there's no panel, no group of people, just talking about wildfires in Canada?
Well, how can they refute? I mean, this isn't just one person that they can kind of negate and say, "Oh, it's a bunch of crap." I mean, this is a lot of information. I mean, these people, they're not smart enough. They're not going to be able to spin it. Like Epstein. I mean, maybe that's going to be the big story tomorrow. But I don't know, Barry. I don't see how they could spin it. I don't see how they can spin it.
All right, so let me go ahead and give you this question here. Let me just make sure I've got the number. Okay, I got it. It's number 3. Okay. Hold on. You're gonna see me give SB
Right.
the information.
I have the answer. Not
So
yet.
he has the answer to look for it. Hold on.
All right.
1 second.
It's coming through.
All right, you ready? Okay, so
Hold on.
the
Okay,
question is, Trump has co-authored or authored more than a dozen books. What was the title, which most of you probably will get, and the publication year of his first bestseller? The title of the book and the year of publication of his first bestseller. So right now, SB is looking that up to see who comes in with the first answer for a $50 gift card. This one might be a little bit tough, SB. Trump has authored or co-authored more than a dozen books. What was the title and publication year of that book? I see people coming in with the actual name of the book, but I don't see the part 2. You got to have the other part as well. What's the other part? Yeah. Well, I'll let SB figure that out. I want to continue with a little bit of the video I had before everything started because it's so surreal.
Any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price. And it's been overwhelmingly clear this election, I won't even get into the last one, this election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved.
So if you looked at the date, that was 2020. He admitted China was involved in the elections. Now we're looking back and going, you gotta be kidding me. China was involved in messing with the elections, and he knew it. He said it during the debate, and they didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. They let it happen.
They will pay a price if I'm elected.
Good afternoon, everybody. We just had a great meeting with the House Republican Conference. We're delighted to have been joined by the Vice President, J.D. Vance. You'll hear from him in just a moment. What we were here to address today, what you're all here to hear about, is we're moving forward with Reconciliation 3.0. This morning, after many months of deliberation and discussion and contemplation, the House Budget Committee, of course, is moving forward with the budget resolution that will get us to Reconciliation 3.0. Let me tell you a few of the details about it. Given the Democrats' absolute refusal to work with us on the nation's top priorities, and that includes election integrity and strengthening our nation's defense, we're moving forward with a narrow, streamlined package to deliver on some of America's top priorities. It is a sad situation, but this is where we are. Republicans have to do this on our own. So the budget resolution instructs 4 House committees to write Reconciliation 3.0, the bill. Those committees are the House Administration Committee, House Armed Services Committee, House Agriculture, and House Intelligence Committee. Each of them will have an important component part of that. The forthcoming reconciliation legislation sets out to accomplish 2 very important goals. 1, to secure America's elections. We're going to pass the Save America Act into law, as much of that as possible. The Save America Act ensures, as you know, that voters have proof of citizenship to register to vote, and they show a valid ID when they turn up to vote at the ballot box. These common sense policies are supported by 83% of the American people. It's almost a 9 out of 10 public opinion poll in most of the polls that you look at. The second objective is to protect and strengthen our homeland. How will we do that? We will provide supplemental funding for our troops with the administration's request to support national defense and our farmers. That's very important stuff. The Budget Committee is scheduled to vote this budget resolution out of committee tomorrow, and we will pass it through the House next week. We'll send it to the Senate, and then they will pass it before the August district work period.
All right, so this was this morning. J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson were going through the halls and meeting with people. They obviously knew what was going to drop tonight. Now they're going to put this thing, a package back together again to try and attach through a budget reconciliation to get the Save America Act passed. I have to wonder overnight how many we won't get any Democrats, but will Murkowski and Collins and some of these other fringe ones come on board to get this thing done? Can John Thune get this across the finish line now that all this information is being dumped out? Tom Tillis, scumbag that he is, already said that it's a non-starter. He will not vote. but we only need 50 because at that point, J.D. Vance can be the tiebreaker and it will be 51 and get passed. So now we just have to see tomorrow. As he said, he's bringing it up tomorrow. How many of these people take the time, read this stuff tonight, realize what has been going on, which they probably have known to some extent, and decide, yes, we definitely need this.
After the Senate passes the budget resolution, our 4 instructed House committees can go to work to write the reconciliation bill itself. We're looking forward to this process. We intend for this to be a lawmaking exercise, which means the House and the Senate both have to pass the bill, and of course the President signs it into law. This budget resolution, which kickstarts Reconciliation 3.0, is a process. It's our best shot at enacting our party's top priority legislation, the Save America Act. It is important to the American people. It is important to the future. And there is nothing in this bill that every Republican in Congress cannot proudly get behind. I would say that Republicans support election integrity, our troops, and, of course, our farmers, and this vehicle will demonstrate all of that once again. We're delighted, again, to have been joined by our Vice President, who had a lot to say to the Republicans. They were very encouraged. He got multiple standing ovations. It's a good day to be a Republican. Ladies.
All right, so J.D. Vance spoke to the Republicans. He got a standing ovation before they heard tonight's speech, before they're going to go on whitehouse.gov and be able to look for themselves. Now it's become, I would say, a election lever against each and every one of them. Each and every person who's up for re-election this fall now will see all this information that President Trump saw today. Now, do you tell your people in your district, I'm not going to vote for the Save America Act? How do you do that? Because right now, if the whitehouse.gov website went down with so many people trying to see what all this information is, there's obviously a huge appetite. People have been waiting for this for a long time. And now it's right here. We know China was involved. We know North Korea. We know Iran. We know Russia to a certain extent. We know all these countries were involved in our election. Now he has, I would say, somewhat proof. He can tell you that the media was complicit. How do you not vote for this? How do you ignore it? I don't think you can.
Gentlemen, our Vice President, J.D. Vance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, guys, so first of all, the reason I wanted to come here today is just to give a message of unity to my fellow Republicans. We've accomplished a lot together over the last year and a half, but we've got to stick together and accomplish at least one very big thing for the American people, which is the President's priority, the White House's priority, the entire Trump administration's priority is to actually get the Save America Act passed. We have the proudest and in some ways the oldest democracy anywhere in the world. 250 years we just celebrated, and yet if you vote in California, you're lucky if a month after the election day, your vote has actually been counted. We know that we have in certain jurisdictions illegal aliens who are casting ballots. We know that 80+% of the American people want you to show a voter ID in order to vote, and yet there are a lot of big blue states that make that impossible, will in fact criminalize the act of asking for an ID in order to vote. Why would you criminalize asking for an ID in order to vote unless you wanted to encourage and promote cheating? So this is an important priority for the administration, but more importantly, it's an important priority for the American people to save our elections. The way you save America is by bringing election integrity. It's something that matters. It's a shame that the Democrats aren't going to help us get this done, given that a majority of Democrat voters actually want us to have election integrity in this country, but we've got a good piece of legislation to support the troops, support the farmers, and get Save America Act passed. This, of course, is the first step, but it's an important step. We're going to take it together. We're going to be successful, and we're going to keep on working at it from there. Thank you.
So right now, what we're also seeing is people are digging into these files, and they're actually saying what's been going on. White House declassified emails show that NSA members deliberately hid intel assessments from President Trump in 2020 that China was trying to influence the election in favor of Biden. Deliberately messaged our one pending presidential daily briefing. This stuff that's going to be coming out is going to be a cascade. It is going to be an amazing waterfall that is going to be just washing over all these politicians, because now we know that the intel agencies were a part of taking Trump down. unbelievable. It's crazy some of the stuff that's coming out. Again, some people won't care and they'll just ignore it. If you need to go to the White House Twitter profile, it now has the link posted as well, so you can download the election integrity documentation that they have and just see it all for yourself. You don't have to worry about the media telling you. President Trump, what else has he done? Oh, yeah, Chuck Schumer just came out with something. Chuck Schumer says Donald Trump is releasing unverified, meaningless documents to appease his own delusions about an election he lost resoundingly, all while continuing to hold 3 million pages of the Epstein file. Seriously, bro? You're completely deflecting everything he just said and going back to Epstein. This are we in some sort of time warp? Are we going back to the future or something? Epstein, Russians, don't look over here. What do you mean unverified documents? See, now you now know where they're going with it. Oh, these are fake. These were AI. Something. You don't think they have the originals? Like he said in Burn Bags, Chuck, you're looking really stupid. Very stupid. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe they went to Epstein.
Barry, didn't I
Epstein.
tell you? Did I not tell you?
Oh my gosh. Epstein.
I said they'll go back to Epstein. There you go.
What an idiot. Oh man. I mean, people are posting so much stuff that they actually have the document showing the hacking IP addresses tracing back to China.
Goodness.
How are they going to get away from this? I can't even imagine what X is going to be like for the next 48 to 72 hours. Everybody's going to be. Oh my gosh. I mean, God. I'm looking at all this.
Santa just arrived, Barry. Santa.
Yeah. I feel like it. I'm excited about it. I literally can't wait to just dig into all this stuff. And I love what here the rapid response team has said here, which is true. It sounds bad because it is. See for yourself. Secure elections now. Pass the Save America Act. Don't rely on anybody. This is going to take you doing some homework because they're going to, every bit of propaganda they can, they're going to come out. What's this one? Look at this one. Here's a snippet of the FBI shadow government text message. They actually called it a shadow government across the FBI.
Not very bright, are they?
It says President Trump is releasing documents showing that an FBI leader creating a shadow government to keep Chinese penetration into our election system secret from President Trump in 2020.
Good old deep state.
People are going to hang. There is so much that is going to come out, and take your time to make sure you know what's real and what's not real. But I don't even know.
I was looking forward to seeing that orange suit on a lot of people, and I'm just waiting on those days coming.
If there's people saying nothing's going to happen, you're sadly mistaken. This was a big shot against the deep state. Huge deep shot. All right, so we could go on.
Some people might be jumping off buildings, I think, too.
Check the airports, and in addition, all this is going on while we're blowing the hell out of Iran at the same time. So
blowing up their bridges now, too. We're taking out bridges.
He's taking the bridges? Wow.
Wow. I had that earlier for a story, but that's like 3 hours ago.
All right. Well, let me get through these questions here.
All right.
I got to get this. Let me see what
you got to give me the answer so I can see when the first one comes up. Because even with slow mode on, it is zooming by. I actually called the wrong winner, and I had to correct myself. But we got the right winner. The last one.
All right. So let me let's see this one.
Can you send me the 3 answers? Like do a break and just give me all 3 answers. That way I'll set it all up.
Well, I have to scroll back into my file here, but I definitely will. I'm looking for the question here, so I have the question.
Question number 4.
Yeah, but I jumped around and took different questions, so I was trying to find the best one. Let me see if I know this off the top. Yeah, I know this one off the top of my head. All right. So Trump once owned a team in which short-lived professional football league in the 80s? Not looking for the team, looking for the league. This one should be pretty easy for some of you guys who play football. Let me give you a hint. Herschel Walker. That should help you. Let's see here, SV. I'm just texting you the answer right now. And so he has it. But Trump once owned a team in a which short-lived professional football league in the 1980s. So I'll let you guys take a look at that as we go back to the video.
A few questions.
So you chair the anti-fraud task force. House Republicans, prior to reconciliation being released, they said they wanted to tackle fraud in this bill as a way to help pay for the bill. There's now no pay-fors in the bill, something that's very upsetting to a lot of Republicans. Do you think this bill should tackle fraud? Should there be pay-fors in it? And why? And if not, why not?
So we actually talked about this a fair amount in this conversation. So the anti-fraud task force is catching hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud across a number of programs, Medicare, Medicaid, a number of programs that are meant for our elderly, for people who are down on their luck, who have disabilities, and basically are being stolen from by fraudsters. So we're saving a lot of money, but we're also saving these critical programs for the next generation. That's a good thing. We're very, very proud of it. Ultimately, we decided this legislation, for a whole host of procedural reasons, was not the place in order to codify some of the things that we're doing in the anti-fraud task force. What we're doing with this legislation is getting Save America through, and of course, getting some critical support to our troops and to our farmers. We decided to do this because we thought this was the best vehicle to accomplish those three things, but we're certainly going to take up the fraud task force, and we talked about actually working with some of our congressional colleagues to make that happen into the future, into the fall.
You mentioned that the administration's top priority right now is passing the Save America Act. Even if it were passed tomorrow, there's not enough time for it to be implemented before voting starts for the November midterm elections.
All right, so that reporter, she's probably telling the truth. She's like, even if you guys pass the SAVE Act, you're not going to be able to do anything by the midterms. Because now they're thinking, how do we avoid this whole thing with the Save America Act, even if somehow they're able to get it passed? Listen to this.
That being said, will the administration support the results of the midterm elections come November, regardless of what they look like?
Well, look, of course, we're going to support the results of the midterm elections. We think we're going to win, but ultimately that's up to the American people. But we also think we have to do everything that we can to discourage cheating. Because you will hear Democrats sometimes say, and I love this line, I can't help but laugh at it, cheating isn't that frequent in American elections. Any frequency at all is a problem. A single ballot cast illegally in an American election is, in fact, the theft of the ballot from another American citizen, from an American citizen who deserves to be able to vote. So you're right. You know, the elections, in some ways, the process is already getting started for 2026, but you don't pass a piece of legislation because you think you're going to immediately benefit from it. You pass a piece of legislation because you think the American people are going to benefit from it over the long haul. We have to do it. Save America is not mainly about 2026, to your question. It's actually about saving America's elections well into the future. Yeah.
I found that to be odd. I would think you'd want to make sure it's in effect for 2026, but you know what's going to happen. They are going to sue. They're going to go from court to court to court to try and get it stopped. So that little bit of an answer that he gave right there tells you that the Save America Act is not where Trump is going with this. If everybody can agree and say that there's no way you're going to get this through all the court system once they start suing you, then you have to understand, well, what is he going to be doing in 2026 to make sure he still has the ability that they don't cheat? Which I think we heard today, and we heard Marco Rubio, Stephen Miller, Scott Bessent all talk, and Mike Johnson. So as you put everything you heard together earlier, now you can see the dinner that President Trump is, I used the Thanksgiving Day dinner earlier. Now you see where he's going with this. They're not going to be able to do a law and put it in effect by the midterms. But with everything you've heard and what you're going to be reading on whitehouse.gov, most assuredly, you could make a couple different moves like National Emergency Act.
Last question. Tomorrow the president's going to give this big speech on the elections. A lot of Republicans here want him to focus on the 2026 midterms and not to relitigate his claims about the 2020 elections. Would you encourage him to steer clear of those unfounded claims that he's actually the true victor of the 2020 elections?
He laughed at him. Are you going to tell him to stay? It's old stuff. Don't even pay attention. What was very interesting when he said we've talked to some Republicans and they just want you to focus on the future. Don't go backwards. Well, I want to look at those people. I want to know who these people are who don't want us looking backwards, because I'm sure there's a whole lot of these documentations that are going to also attach to some politicians.
I love these questions, the unfounded claims. You're basically assuming an answer in the very question that you ask. Manu, what I'd say is we can do a lot. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're doing so many things. We got the one big beautiful bill passed that cut taxes on Social Security, cut taxes on tips, cut taxes on overtime, delivered thousands of additional dollars into the pockets of the average American family. We're very proud of that. It's one of the things that we talked about in there was we need to talk about it more. We need to tell the American people all the amazing benefits that are in those working families' tax cuts. We also have a lot of other things going on in the country. The president's going to talk about a number of things tomorrow night. I'm obviously not going to get ahead of his remarks, but we can talk about a number of the American people's problems. We can solve a number of the American people's problems, and that's exactly what we're going to work with our House colleagues and our Senate friends to do.
How are you going to get the Senate to pass America? How are you going to get the Senate? How are you going to get the Senate to pass America?
You support the president's claims that
The look on his face. There is definitely some stuff that's going to be happening that we don't know. So you guys just got to hold on to it. All right, I've got two more questions. We're going to run through this pretty quick. I gave SV the information on these. All right, so for another $50 Visa gift card, here's the question for you. Trump's mother, Marianne McLeod Trump, immigrated to the United States legally. From what country? What country was his mother from? SB has the answer, so this one should probably go pretty quick. Who wants $50? Let's see what people come up with. Where did his mom come from? What country did his mom come from? You got anybody yet?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right.
It is. We have a winner on Rumble. I was just cutting it out. It is. God, it went so quickly here. Wow, we got a lot of people not putting in. It was Lori Online. That is her name. Lori Online. She is the winner.
Now, I'll be surprised if somebody gets this one quick. This is a very obscure question. Very obscure question. All right, let's look at this one. What was the name of the board game Trump released in the 1980s, later re-released, that was modeled after Monopoly? He didn't do Monopoly, obviously, but he had a board game that was kind of like Monopoly back in the 80s, and he later released it. So for a $50 Visa gift card, what game was that? What game was it that he created that was similar to Monopoly? I can tell people are going to have to Google that one.
We got a winner.
Really?
Yeah, Biff Littleton. Biff Littleton.
Wow.
That was the first correct answer I got.
Very, very cool. Thank you, guys. It's that simple. We're just gonna, give people gift cards and have you guys have some fun with us. We thank you for tuning in. Any news you got before we close?
No, I'm just looking at some of the summaries from people. Like Nick Sortor just posted about a minute ago. It says it's official. U.S. intelligence officials knew China was attempting to rig the 2020 election for Joe Biden with mail-in ballots, and they covered it up. So it's time for treason. I mean, we're going to see more and more of this. I mean, it is treason. I mean, people need to be perp walked or worse.
our boy,
clandestine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at it. Yep.
There's two he put up, which I want to show before we go. Holy crap. The bureaucrats in the IC intentionally withheld intelligence from President Trump about China manufacturing illegal ballots for Joe Biden as a part of a plot to overthrow the sitting president of the United States. And then he posted another one about a couple of minutes ago, and this one says, the stage has been set. The public has been informed that our elections are not secure, and now Trump has the optics to do whatever is necessary to secure the 2026 midterms. Doesn't need the Save America Act anymore. I think that's very important for everybody to realize. We're not talking about the Save America Act at this point. Where we're going, we don't need roads. It says to include invoking the Insurrection Act to secure polling locations with military and federal law enforcement. Trump has been teasing the idea of having DHS and ICE involved in election security as well, as he has repeatedly said election security is part of homeland security. Anyone who thinks POTUS does not have the authority to do this is quite mistaken, very mistaken. This is a matter of national security. POTUS can and will do whatever is necessary to ensure that treasonous Dems and their foreign co-conspirators are not able to manipulate our elections. I think the Save America Act is just a formality, and ultimately it will be the military that ends up securing our elections. The military, I think we've said that all along, haven't we, SB? The military is the only way. That's it.
Yep,
The
Insurrection Act. Check out what I just sent you. It's a link from Breaking 911.
On X?
Yeah. CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
I thought they were going to show him tonight. I thought he was actually going to walk out there. Let's see. What's he said? Go ahead, take it.
All right. CIA Director John Ratcliffe said the CIA has declassified documents as part of President Trump's transparency initiative, saying they include intelligence reporting that Venezuela developed capabilities to manipulate electronic voting systems, and that the newly released documents provide further insight into China's effort to influence the 2020 election. Ratcliffe said the disclosures are intended to strengthen public confidence in U.S. elections and ensure the security and integrity of the nation's election system. I guess Maduro is singing a little bit.
It's Maduro. Oh my gosh. From Ratcliffe. To support President Trump's transparency, we have taken significant steps. Pretty much what SB just read. It's Maduro. They've squeezed Maduro. They've squeezed him, and he's. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. They are. This.
There's gonna be a lot more coming out. We're gonna hear other people singing like canaries. All right.
Lock and frickin' load. These people are gonna get nuts, man. They are definitely gonna get nuts. Well, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get much sleep tonight because I'm going to be reading all these documents.
Yeah, I feel like I got to open some more presents.
Yeah, exactly. Just like it. All right, SB, thank you.
All right. Have a great night, Barry.
For the double header tonight, let me go ahead and do super chats. All right, everybody. Let me do these. I hope you guys enjoyed what you heard. Fikowski, special occasion wearing my Birkenstocks and yellow t-shirt. Okay. Buddy Sanders, Warlock is known to be a domestic violence person in Georgia. I had heard that. Luis Lujak, thank you very much. 2015. Oh, that was for the answer for the trivia question. Buddy Sanders, Warlock is known for domestic violence. Ask his first wife. Yep, been hearing that. Vielka, the Dems want Trump to stop talking about the 2020 election, but they keep bringing up the Epstein files. Good point. Very good point. Wachowski, tax to stupidity. Lady Gizmo, thank you. The voice change was as soon as he started talking about voter integrity. Man, I apologize for that earlier. I had to do all kinds of work and change feeds and do different things because that was crazy. Chiosop, wish they would show the docs. Yep, now you can. Now you can go look for yourself. Go to whitehouse.gov /election-integrity. You can see all of them. YouTubers will break them down and show the important parts. Yeah, I like when people look at everything. Beth, hi Beth, thank you. Nikki, housing crisis over. The amount of bricks Dems and deep staters are pooping right now could build entire cities. Indeed. Roger, let the hammer drop on all the crooks. You can tell the deep state doesn't like the message when they F with the audio. Give them hell, Barry. I was trying. Finally, I was able to get it. Fikowski, rolling. Head slow in military tribunals. Yes, I don't think this is going to go with regular courts. Fikowski, my voter ID with fanfare. G. Fisher, he said our media was paid by China. Handcuffs are coming. You know what? Before the handcuffs are coming, you're going to see a lot of people talk like birds. They're going to. These people aren't made to go into jail cells. Tania, we already knew the 2020 election was stolen. This just solidifies it. May the heads begin to roll. Yeah, imagine that. Tomorrow morning, they cannot say that the election wasn't stolen, but they will. Nia, very awesome show. Thank you so much. Watched the earlier show tonight, but still need to go back. Trump is showing receipts now. Americans need to read it and learn the truth. God bless and protecting President Trump. Yes, the protection part is really important at this point. Looking, greetings from West Coast Canada. China interfered with the 2019, 21, 25 elections. That's another thing. We need to find out how far back they did things. Jose, Barry, let Grok read it. So much information. I'm sure somebody will actually do that, and I'll be able to find it. Thank you. Beverly, print out the data, save to a flash drive. We're going to have it tomorrow. Alec, tomorrow is the 7th. Ooh, yeah. Oh, by the way, hold on. Thanks for reminding me about the 17th. Thank you very much for reminding me. Forgot about this. Tomorrow, all kinds of things are supposed to happen in Fulton County. That's why they did this tonight, because tomorrow in Fulton County, the dam's going to break. I forgot all about that. They had to do something by the 17th, which incidentally, yeah, you know what letter that corresponds with. Alec, Bo Asperger will order to reclassify the documents, probably. Buddy Sanders, why no testimonies from the Epstein victims? They were just out there doing their normal theater. Hey, we need to be heard. Okay, we'll say some names. Oh, I can't do that part. I can't name names. I can come out here and whine, but that's about it. Al Phelps, thank you. C. Mills, major reading and research homework assignment for the weekend. Indeed. McConnell's wife says from Vishu, McConnell's wife might be headed back to China now. Good point. Chris, if China was trying to manipulate the 2020 election with mail and ballots, that means it's 100% that they released, yep, that disease on purpose. All of this is coming to a head rather quickly. TJ says, give us the answers. I can't, then it wouldn't be a sweepstakes. All right, everybody. Long day. I'm going to do some reading. Hope you do some reading. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming on. It's only going to get better for here. For some people, it's going to get worse for others.